Launch weekend special, code ESPRESSO gets you 30% off your entire order at gfuel.com. If you're interested, check it out. Modern Warfare is a few days old now at this point, and usually whenever the game launches around this time, a lot of players know most of what's on offer, most of what is available to them, and some things that they may have picked up on that their friends may not have. But in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about 10 things that you probably didn't know about within Modern Warfare, or that you may not have seen. Some of these really aren't advertised all that much in game, and so therefore I wanted to share with you guys a list of 10 things that may prove insightful and maybe something helpful for you guys later on down the line. So that said, if you enjoy what you see, be sure to subscribe if you guys are new to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and the ton of content we still have coming here on the channel every single day. But talking about the list of items here, let's start out with number 1, and one that's a little bit more of an Easter egg, but is something that can definitely prove helpful in very niche situations, but is more so a love letter back to some of the classics in the Call of Duty franchise. And for this one in particular, we're talking about Afghan. Now, if you end up playing Ground War, you have at the very moment 2 maps to play on: Divorce District and also Karst River Quarry, which is the one that we played in the beta. At the beginning of Quarry, we have the ability to spawn either A side or E side. Whenever you spawn A side though, in the actual quarry itself, you'll end up noticing that A flag is by a taller bunkhouse with that smokestack and all things like that. A lot of players love to camp up there, but what's interesting about this is that in front of that bunkhouse, right across from the flag, there's a dumpster with a bunch of trash in it. Normally you'd look at it and you think, that's nothing. That's just something that is there for the aesthetic. That's something that is there for the map design, but it actually provides a functional service in this particular case. If you end up going up into that bunkhouse, the windows that overlook the rest of the map, they end up facing that. If you end up jumping out of those windows and land on that dumpster, you take minimal fall damage but will not die, despite how pesky fall damage is within this game. You can fall 5 feet to your death in this game and think nothing of it because of how finicky it can be. But whenever you jump off the very top of that bunkhouse and land on the dumpsters and live, that might be a little bit of a shock to you. But this is a throwback to the mattress underneath the cliffside on Afghan. This was something confirmed by Joel Emsley pre-release and as a nice little Easter egg and nod back to one of the classics. Now, talking a little bit about things outside of Easter eggs, some things that are actually functional, one thing you may not have known too much about is that of Field Upgrade Pro. This, to my knowledge, is unlocked at level 45, I think. I'm in the officer ranks now, so I can't go back and check, unfortunately, but this ends up giving you the option in-game of using one or another field upgrade in combat. You can select 2 and choose from these on the go. So instead of just having to use, in my case, the ammo crate or using dead silence for an entire game, I can select both and then choose between those 2 whenever I want to use them for whatever situation I feel may call for it. Maybe I have a ton of ammo and maybe I want to sneak around to get a couple of kills on the flank to get a kill streak going or something like that. Or maybe I really am in a pinch and I need some ammo. I could end up using that as well. This you activate it the same exact way and then choose situationally which of the 2 you want with either your left one or right one bumpers on your controls. Once you activate it, the cooldown will actually look like it locks you into one while recharging, but that's not the case. Once it recharges, you have the ability to choose once again in combat. So that's something that can be very helpful, and I haven't really heard too many people talk about all that much. Number 3 on this list here comes down to the ability to throw grenades through fans and vents. There are various locations around different maps in which you might see some rotating fans, in which that actually is prime positioning. If you know somebody's camping in, say, the bathrooms of Gunrunner, you can end up taking them out by not having to put yourself into a bad situation positionally. You don't have to try and guess which corner they'll be in by jumping through the door and snapping to that aim. Instead, you can either throw a stun and then go in tactically, or you can end up throwing a grenade in there and clearing them out just as is. It's something that definitely does help out when there's so many different vantage points in other maps and so many different places for players to just sit and be annoying. You can take them out in some cases without them ever realizing you have the drop on them. Number 4 on this list is that if for whatever reason you wanted to turn off crossplay and cross communication, you actually can. While not everybody loves crossplay, personally I think it's a fantastic thing for the game. It keeps lobbies alive, keeps everything very populated. You can find a match very quickly, but if you don't want to deal with somebody that maybe partied up you've come across with a mouse and keyboard on either PlayStation 4 or PC or something like that, you don't want to deal with that, you can turn it off. In your game settings under the account tab, you have the option to turn off both crossplay and cross communication if that's really what you're looking for. Again, personally, I don't see too much benefit in doing so. It ends up restricting lobby pools and matchmaking, but it is an option that's there, again, just not necessarily very heavily advertised. The next thing we'll talk about is actually two things that are additionally not very well advertised within game. Firstly, how to utilize the specialist kill streak system from previous Modern Warfare titles and Ghost in this game of Modern Warfare, plus also how to access hardcore modes. I've had quite a few tweets, quite a few comments asking me about these, and they're really not advertised very well in game, but they're relatively simple to do once you know how to. Firstly, let's start out with the specialist system. If you want to forego kill streaks in exchange for extra perks as you end up going on kill streaks, specialist is something that since Modern Warfare 3 has been an options in various different titles. Now, this returns, but again, isn't something that is advertised in the kill streak menu, whereas in previous titles, you have the ability to choose from kill streaks that in Modern Warfare 3 in particular, assault, support, or specialist, and then you have the option also in the same vein in Ghosts as well. But in Modern Warfare, you actually don't activate this at all from the kill streak menu. You activate it from within your perk selection in your create a class system. From here, once you're in the perk selection, you hold down square or X on Xbox or PlayStation 4, whichever console you're on, and this will then toggle the ability to bring up specialist. You'll have your 3 perks already selected within your create a class of that specific class, but then you have the ability to compound 3 more on before you get that specialist bonus. Those 3 can of course be whatever your choice is on that, but will then be incrementally added to your class once you end up getting those certain kills associated with it. So that's something that of course can help out greatly, but haven't seen too many people actually talk about this too much, and same thing goes then for hardcore and how to access this. This is a very simple one. All you got to do is go over to your quick fill selection menu, in which you'll see things like your TDM, domination, 20v20 TDM and domination, headquarters, and so on. All you got to do is again hit that square on PlayStation 4 and then X on Xbox One and whatever you have it bound to on PC, and that will then toggle it so you bring up the hardcore selection for your quick fill options there. From there, all you have to do is queue up and you'll be jumping right into some hardcore games. So keep those in mind. Another thing that many people may not know about, but they may have actually seen here on the channel, but wanted to get it across because you may still not know about it, is that you can actually preview Platinum and Damascus camos, the main mastery camos within Modern Warfare outside of Gold camo, before you actually unlock them, which is kind of curious. I thought that like Black Sky within Infinite Warfare, you'd have to obtain it before you could preview it, but that's not the case. If you get gold on one weapon, you can actually take a look at and preview Damascus as well as Platinum by holding down the right thumbstick, and then you can actually play through some animations that it has pre-built for whatever that weapon is in the camo placed on it. So it can really help you decide if that grind is worth it, that 16 to 18 hours on average per gold weapon, and then considering there's about 40 weapons in game, well, is it really worth all that time to you? You can find out for yourself. Next thing we'll talk about is one that actually broke as of the last 24 hours and is something that not many people know about: the fact that 50v50 within Modern Warfare was actually leaked by the Call of Duty companion app, an officially sanctioned Activision and Call of Duty branded application for iOS and Android devices. This actually ended up showcasing that in the one instance, a player was playing 50v50 on the map of Train Station. Presumably something coming relatively shortly here, as we've seen things leaked in the past by the Call of Duty companion app. The follow-up really wasn't all that much time afterwards that those were introduced. So maybe seeing something about Train Station sometime in the very near future. The 8th thing that I want to talk about here is actually, again, another little bit of an Easter egg with this, that being the fact that if you take a look at your operator selection, if you have both factions or even just one faction having that default character as your operator, you actually have the ability to change their uniform and some of how they look even based upon what weapon you set as the preview. To do this, you end up having the ability to go into your create a class and set a class with a specific rifle, SMG, LMG, sniper, so on and so forth as that favorite weapon for your operator to display. When you do this, it will change across each classification of weapon, marksman rifles and sniper rifles being the same thing though in terms of what the uniforms change to, but each one will offer a different variation of that default operator and what they end up looking like. So that's something pretty cool, and again, not many people know about. Then outside of that, we'll talk about some blueprints. Right now we have the ability to, out of the mission challenges, get some blueprints for completing specific grind challenges, some things that take quite a bit of time. Some you end up getting also for ranking up and reaching that max rank of your enlisted ranks. You may end up having 1 or 2 from some pre-order bonuses like the XRK weapons pack. But did you know that you can actually make your own custom blueprints if you love how camo looks on one weapon, if you love how an attachment equipment setup is working or something like that, you can end up actually saving that as your own specific blueprint, something that you can come back to later on that you may not be using right now, but maybe you want to in the future. The final thing we'll talk about in today's video is that of how to actually get some free loot. And while we have things like our mission challenges and maybe some of our bonuses like those XRK weapons packs, what about post-launch here? The first things actually we can get outside of game come in conjunction with a Call of Duty and Twitch partnership going on right now. This is something that just for simply watching your favorite streamers, if I ever get back into that, maybe you can watch me or any of the other broadcasters out there doing Modern Warfare content over on Twitch, you can end up going to their streams, watching for a few hours. If they have the drops enabled, you have to check for that one. You'll be able to link your Call of Duty account with your Twitch account, and then watching certain streams every couple of hours will grant you new items. There's the Poison Grapes spray for watching 1 hour, the Looking Grim emblem that is granted for 2 hours of watch time, the Collector's Soul calling card for 3 hours, and then the Reap This weapon charm for 4 hours. Those are available again as in-game items for simply watching your favorite broadcasters and streamers and tagging along. Maybe you want some ambient noise while you're working at the office. Maybe you got a study hall or a free period at school where you want to watch somebody play Modern Warfare, but you can't access it yourself. Well, you can earn some free loot this way. But anyways, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. That's 10 things that you may not have known about within Modern Warfare, and if you did, feel free to let me know which ones you knew about, and if there's anything that maybe we can add to a list for a follow-up video. What do you think is out there that we could share? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare. If you guys also want to stay up to date with me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connect me outside of YouTube, but I can live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.